We will go ahead and get started. It's 2 minutes after 7. We are, I'm going to close my door because I'm getting some echoing in. All right, so this is our monthly forum for the month of April. Today is the 14th of April. So we like to have these monthly forums, one to inform, two to make sure that we're echoing the messages that we have with individuals that are out in different areas, whether it be in Pickens County, whether it's Carrollton, whether it's Pickensville, Gordo, whether it's um
Today's the 12th.
oh, today is the 12th of April. Today's the 12th of April. And so regardless of where we're at, we would like to have these forums to keep everyone on the same page as it pertains our to our historic campaign. And yesterday we were in Vance for Vance's Spring Fling, and we look forward to Lakeview. But anyway, so we'll get started. Hopefully you were able to sign in and everything went well. So we always start with the slide on how we got here. We've cut these forms down to 30 minutes. And so what that does is, if you want to hear about how we arrived at this point in running for office, you can go to our YouTube page, JMINOR50. I will, if you would subscribe. We don't have many subscribers, but we do have viewers that come to our page there. So if you're a YouTuber and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube page, I would encourage you to do so. And you can also go there to learn about how I arrived at running for Senate District 21. So the Good Race Roadmap, again, the updates that we do have here are specific to independent campaign petition. Is listed in red qualification deadline, May 19th being our deadline. We're well ahead of our deadline for qualification. And I do really, really thank all of we call them champions of the ground crew that have been part of not only the ones that have signed the petitions, we're grateful, and also for those that said, hey, what else can I do to help, that have taken packets to get signatures. And we're well ahead of the deadline, and we look forward to announcing that we're taking our petitions to Montgomery. We need 1,003 signatures. And so for those that do have packets, I'll mention that please, please, please don't try to get the amount of petition signatures that you would like. Turn in your packets, because we're prepared to close out and send our petition packet to Senator Alan Sun, West Allen, to qualify to run as an independent candidate for Senate District 21. That's all that I'll mention here. And on that slide, we always like to talk about the numbers and how we're trending in all of these spaces, because this is 2026 and everything's digital. So these numbers represented far left the amount of traction that we received on Facebook. 23,000 views for 1 month. One unfollower gained 32 followers. We have about 1,100 followers right now, but we anticipate, as we continue to progress and we move into areas strategically based on how we wanted to run a campaign, that we expect the number of followers to multiply into the tenfolds before we get to November the 3rd. And so TikTok, we're on the World Wide Web, www.electjodyminor.com, where there as well, 113 viewers reached that page for the month of March. Our page to shop for merchandise, Shopify, 54 sessions, You can see the other numbers. Digital mail is the mail that we send out in digital bulk to individuals, 403 cents for the month of March. And then other platform, Instagram, about 3,000 viewers. All really not trending up, but we do anticipate with spring coming and more events and engagements that we do anticipate that those numbers will start trending up again. We were kind of a down month for the month of February with 23,000. You see a net negative of 23% from Facebook, but we do anticipate that these numbers will grow, and we see the numbers for YouTube with 2,000 views for the month of March. The next slide that we mentioned for paid advertisement, the only thing that I'll highlight that we see here, in if you've been in Pickens, you'll notice that we've launched our physical 4x8 campaign signs in accordance with a strategy that myself with the campaign team and other advisors that we talked about on how to launch strategically. And we've done just that. You'll see signs over Pickens. Soon you will see signs start to roll in Tuscaloosa County as well. And we have campaign cards. We have a different version of those cards as well. You see on the bottom, it's on my left, it may be on your right. That's one version of our campaign card. The one in the middle is a different version of the campaign card, and we have a third version that's just rolled out as well, all articulating what we would like to articulate for providing information to our campaign. You will see a newer version that won't have priorities on the campaign card. That's again by design. We're not talking priorities on that slide. We're talking education on what you need to do to elect to vote for me as the next senator for Senate District 21. And then also the information that you would need to know for priorities is the website link to www.electjoetheminor.com. And this is just part of our paid advertisement rollout. What you'll also notice if you were in certain paper areas, if you received the paper that you saw a political campaign meet the candidate ad in the Pickens County market as well that rolled out in March. So we're grateful for the work and support for the Pickens County Herald, but also for the Shopper's Guide in highlighting our campaign. And then we've already talked some of this merchandise. And when we're out engagements, events, you'll see promotional items, 2.5 inch buttons, plastic cups. You will see it's a sticker. It looks like a campaign card, but that's a sticker. And we put those stickers on cups, on water bottles. They can go in vehicles. They can go on binders. A lot of different things you can do with those items, and all of those again are promo items that we give out at events. One that's not highlighted that we've added is also a fan. We're in the South. It's about to get hot, and so we also have fans that will be available as well. We were grateful to be able to pass out a bulk of those to a church that I was at earlier today. On the right side, you'll see the merchandise that's for sale. And again, and so I apologize for those that we owe t-shirts and sweaters to. I promise you, I promise you, I promise you, you will get them soon. We have a small campaign team. We we work as fast and as diligent as we can, but also we went in between a season of hoodies and t-shirts. So instead of just giving you the hoodie, I wanted to make sure that we had the t-shirt as well to give you both of those at one time. So again, if I owe you a sweater, you're getting a t-shirt with that, and we'll make sure that you get those items. My goal is to have those to you within the next week. But those are items that are for sale. There was a promo that we had on Facebook to gain more traction with followers that we owe some people some merchandise to. But and again, for those that can't afford merchandise, reach out to us because we also understand that some may want to support but may not be able to donate. So if you like any of these merchandise items, just reach out to us. In the middle, what you will see is our engagements and events that we participated in for the month of March. Event in Coling, and there was a meeting in Coling. And went to the Tuscaloosa County School Board meeting and met the board members there, and was able to learn and hear more about the issues, concerns from the Tuscaloosa City Schools. I'm sorry, Tuscaloosa County School Board. And then there was a Chamber of Commerce dinner in Aliceville, had a meeting in Vance, civic education session, Gordo, meeting Lakeview, political event, Tuscaloosa. And again, you see meeting, you see political events. All of these things are labeled by design. Because again, we've talked 5% that we don't want everybody to know about, but just know that we're having engagements in all of these different areas, and we're not just in Carrollton, we're not just in Aliceville, we're not just in Pickersville, we're not just in Gordo, we're not just in Reform. We're running a full District 21 race, and nobody will be left behind in understanding issues, concerns, and being able to understand where legislative policies may come into play where you would need someone to advocate for you at. Fire department meeting, not listed by design again. And also civic education event, Aliceville, and a city council meeting at one of the towns or cities that's in the district as well. And we're grateful for all of the feedback, conversations, dialogue that we've had with individuals in all of those areas. I didn't mention Brookville, but it's on here too. And we look forward to future engagements, and feel free to reach out. We're spread, and if there are issues, concerns, events, engagements that are going on that you would like for me to come to, not to be endorsed, not to highlight any individual that wanted me to come, but again, we welcome those opportunities. And so, what we wanted to highlight for the month of March, um, for highlight, we wanted to talk the upcoming elections. There is a District 3 City Council election on May the 14th. Richard Henry, Douglas MacArthur Parrish are both running for City Council seat, District 3, Tuscaloosa. That election is on Tuesday, and it will be at the Church of the Highlands. And we look for our campaign in anticipation of turnout analysis, research, those kinds of things. But we also think that it's healthy. It's healthy for folks to in general to go to the ballots. So in my conversations in places, I've tried to echo, not specifically to endorse a candidate, but to be part of the democratic process of voting. That's District 3, Tuscaloosa, April 14th, 7 to 7. That's maybe why I had 14 in my head. Leaning a little bit forward in kind of some of my individual efforts is on civic education. And if you see primary election, what you will see, you can go to Google, you can go to Alabama Votes, that you can see what will be on your ballot for Tuscaloosa and for Pickens County for May 19th. You'll be able to see what's on your ballot. I would encourage you to take a look at your ballot. We have copies of those, so if you don't have access, you can get a copy of either one of those two ballots if you reach out to us on Messenger. And one of the things that I'll highlight that's been part of a conversation is in Pickens County. It is I want to get the language right. It is referendum election. Do you favor the adoption of Act 2015-18 of regular session of Alabama legislature, which authorizes Pickens County Commission to levy an additional issuance fee of the issuance of each vehicle license and registration in Pickens County, with the proceeds earmarked and used only to provide ambulance services in the county. Basically, what that is, it's a $10 tag tax that you would get for each vehicle tag. And what that money would be designed for is to sustain the ambulance services that we do have. Now, what I'll say is that one, I understand that no one wants an additional tax. No one wants an additional tax. One. Two, we have an affordability crisis, which leads to we don't want an additional tax. And so, what we do in these times when these conversations and these topics come up, what we look for is for leadership. What we look for is justification. What we look for is the reason why. And so, again, this is to sustain what we have in Pickens County. And if you will remember, in Pickens County, we were at a point where we had no ambulances. The county commissioners did a really good job of figuring out a way, led by Miss Fuller, Commissioner Fuller, to figure out a way, funding different methods in order to get ambulances back on. Extremely important because one, the hospital in Pickens County is closed. So thankful to the work that they've done. But then now that was patchwork. What the $10 will do is it allow us to sustain without straining other avenues of funding. And so for me, $10 is going to Burger King. $10 is going to McDonald's. $10 is and one, I understand. Again, I understand that we are in an affordability crisis, that Alabama Power is exerting power. That's just one. There's gas, there's food costs for that food has to get to places and it costs gas. So you can anticipate that cost of goods and services, if the gas prices are rising, then that trickle is going to lead to higher prices. Again, when the whole design for why had an election last time was to reduce inflation, and it wasn't short-term pain for long-term gain. So again, and so my position on the tag tax is I would be willing to pay $10. I would want to be on the side where I didn't pay the $10 and we lose an ambulance and somebody ends up passing away at home because I wanted to hold back on $10. That's just me. $10 tag taxes once a year. I understand that what I would like to see personally, even though I do support, I would like to see a breakdown of the current tag tax and what the monies for the tax the fees are already being used for. And that's my priority before May 19th to get a better understanding of what the current fees are being used for tag tax. So again, that's one issue that's on the ballot. I think the slide must have transitioned forward. But again, that's this has to do with civic education and one to know what's on the ballot. That's one of the big issues, not related to an individual running for a specific seat that's on the ballot. Other commissioners are on the ballot. U.S. senators, U.S. governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, state treasurer. So I would encourage you to get to know these candidates before we get to May the 19th. There are some other dates. So pause while I'm here. We are working internally. We had a goal or a plan to have specific engagements specific to certain areas. And based on some feedback that we received, we don't want to relay what we plan to do, but we do plan to still have engagements before May 19th that's specific to you having candidates the opportunity to meet with you so that you can get to know more about them. We hope that will be rolling out soon. It has to be before May 19th if it's going to happen. So we do anticipate being able to release some dates and some times for not town hall, but for meet and greets in different places. So if things work out, then we plan to release those dates soon. What you saw before is what I'll show again. What we have is the 5-point plan, and this goes to our civic edu passionate for my civic education campaign. One, before the May the 4th, you and everyone that you know need to ensure that you are registered to vote based on the address that you live at. Make sure you're registered. Verify and make sure that you're registered before May the 4th. That's the deadline. Two, make sure that you and everybody that you know are registered to vote. Again, before the deadline. And then if you know that you're not going to be here in the area at your polling booth on May the 19th, then you need to see if you qualify for an absentee ballot. Don't wait until May the 12th to do that. And if you do, I would encourage you to submit that ballot back to the election official, whether it's Pickens or Tuscaloosa County, before the 18th of May. Again, we've just talked knowing who's on your ballot, and then you know exactly where your polling place is. All of this information at the bottom, sos.alabama.gov/Alabama votes. You can also, if it's specific, you can go to Google and go to Alabama votes sample ballot. That's one, those are some, that's what you can do. 2026. Alabama votes / sample ballots 2026. And then on election day, May 19th, that you make sure that you and all of those folks in your circle, you hold yourself and those individuals accountable to get to the ballots and vote. Um, that's that's the plan ahead. I would encourage again. We talk absentee ballot is something that's political in nature. It shouldn't be, but it's. I would encourage you. It's not dying. It's not against the law. It's something that I would encourage you that if you're not going to be able to make it to the ballot on May 19th, to see if you qualify for an absentee ballot, but don't wait until the 12th. And again, we always say our campaign for state senate for District 21 is on November the 3rd. And we would encourage each and every one of you, if you vote straight party and you support our campaign, to go down to Senate District. You can vote straight party if you do. I don't. I never have. I work for different parties and presidents, and I'm a critical thinker, and I don't just bucket all of my issues and concerns into one bucket. But I would encourage you to, if you do vote straight party, to vote for Jody, to let all of the folks that you know, this is our education campaign, because 40 to 50% of the people in Pickens and Tuscaloosa County vote straight party. That's a 5-point plan. We always like to end with thanking the ground crew. We would not be where we're at with this campaign with the odds based on what the world may see seemingly not in our favor, but trust me, if you know me, they are in our favor. And we would not be here without the support of what we call the ground crew, whether it be with letting us know that somebody's trying to take our campaign sign down, whether it's signing the petition, whether it's my kindergarten teacher, Miss Ware, said that she just broke down in tears. She said that she couldn't have dreamed the other day that based on where I was at in kindergarten, that I would be here. Um, and so it was a sacred moment in time with my kindergarten teacher, Miss Ware. I call her Miss Ware, Miss Williams, Miss Ware. So we're just grateful and thankful for all of the members of the ground crew. If there are any questions that you may have, you can post them. If you're watching on social media on Facebook, you can post those questions, and I would try to field those questions. We like to keep these for under 30 minutes. And so if there are any questions, I will be more than happy to answer any questions that we may have at this time. We look forward to campaign events that are upcoming. We're at April the 12th, the Forte Effect Forum with Miss Forte, who's a Pickens County native who now is doing great things in the healthcare field and with the podcast. I think in the Birmingham area, we look forward to being in that space. We look forward to Lakeview Day on April the 25th, and then we have another civic education session at in Aliceville on the 26th of April, and we're thankful for the invitation and for every invitation and opportunity that we do have. We always say that people don't have to be good to you, and whenever they are, you should always say thank you. And so those are the events. There are, again, like I mentioned, we're looking to schedule meet and greets at locations, and we look forward to hopefully being able to announce those dates soon. We are in coordination with other organizations in Tuscaloosa County about civic engagements, about how can we ensure that we prepare residents in Tuscaloosa County for an historic campaign and election, more people will vote in the midterms in 2026 on November than any other election in American history. More people will vote in November. I've said before in other forums that if you think affordability, that the crisis of inflation and stuff is bad now, wait until later. Now we're getting into later. That was probably 5 months ago. It's because I have a gift of ability to be able to see stuff. Sometimes I get a glimpse of things, and sometimes I keep them to myself because you don't want to scare people. And then sometimes it's important to warn people about what may be coming. So we believe, it's my anticipation that based on a lot of factors, more people will vote in November than any other election. And based on my my I wouldn't call it expertise, but my experience on Capitol Hill, that's the reason why the SAVE Act is important. Um, more there have been elections since the election of November 2024. And if you look at the results of who the individuals that have won those elections and that have lost those elections, what you will see is that the Democratic Party has picked up over 30 seats and the Republicans have picked up zero. And if there's if there's fraud, if people are voting illegally, you don't need a law to hold those individuals accountable. You just need indictments. If people are voting illegal, you only need indictments to arrest them. If there was waste, fraud, and abuse that Elon Musk led, if there's waste, fraud, and abuse, the only thing that you do with fraud is you indict and arrest people. So we're getting down to 1 minute, and I was creating space. So so that's the save that's my perspective on the SAVE Act. If we want to save elections and prevent illegal people from voting, all we need are indictments and arrests. You don't need a law for that. If there was waste, fraud, and abuse with the federal government, all you needed to do was indict the people that were part of fraud as a crime. And so what we're running is a 2T campaign. We're gonna tell the truth. And once we tell the truth, then you're gonna establish trust, and the people that don't believe in trust will attack you. But what you'll do with trust and with truth, then the people that are really about the business can have realistic expectations. And once they're realistic expectations, then I can say, you know what? If you need improved technology with the fire department, then I hate to tell you that we just can't do it. I'm not just going to politic to politic. Or how do we fight? How do we how do we compel and persuade to get funding for X? And these are the challenges, and this is what we're going to do. But I've never been in the business of just telling people stuff to gain votes. That's what an individual told me. I have to mention this. We've been running the good race, and we've we've been able to run a good campaign. We don't do negative politics against any individual. We don't denigrate parties. We don't denigrate individuals. We're not going to be out tearing down people's signs. We're just going to run a good race. So there's a page on social media called the Student for Jody page, and I'm grateful for who's running the page. And one of our strategic efforts was to gain or learn more about the issues and concerns for young adults and for first time voters. And this we believe that we're grateful for the Students for Jody page, which is targeted, I think, well, obviously students that is targeted for young voters. And we're grateful for the individual that decided to step up and to run that page. If you are a young voter and you're here, we would love to get your feedback input, and I can pass it along, or we can get you in contact with the person that's running the page. But it's not specifically attributional to the committee to elect Jody Minor. But if it's positive, it's positive. If it's not positive, we'll hold we'll proceed, we'll govern accordingly. Is a good way to put it. We're at 32 minutes. We wanted to make sure that we covered registration to vote, absentee voting, and posture ourselves for May 19th. We look forward to the turnout on Tuesday for District Three's race. We look forward for continuing dialogue and feedback on what we can do better, on what issues, concerns that you may have from wherever community that you live in. And we're just grateful for the opportunity to be in this space to run a good campaign for State Senate District 21. I love you all, and I look forward to seeing you all out on wherever it is that we may be inside of District 21, outside of District 21, or in this social space. Be a help for us. If you see any issues, concerns with our signs as you see them out, either let us know or either adjust them yourselves. We look forward to the anticipation of sending our petition packets to Montgomery. We're close. If you have your packets, again, if you have packets, give them to us immediately so that we can consolidate and submit our packet to the election office in Montgomery for qualification. Again, I love you all. Thank you all for your time. Share, like, comment, provide feedback and message if you have any feedback for us. Again, thank you all. Look forward to seeing y'all in the future.